Hi, Misha here. And so you're all going a little stir crazy with this quarantine, with this lockdown, with this shut in, right? Or even if you don't feel the need or have to, you can't go to your favorite restaurant on Friday night or your favorite club or bar on Saturday night. You can't even go into Starbucks and mess around on your Apple device. I just assume that everyone that goes to Starbucks has Apple devices. And even in some big cities, you really can't even go walk in the park. Can't go watch the sports ball events. So what do you do? What do you do? Well, from someone who's been blind his whole life, has never been able to drive, and has had to make peace with being not shut in. I get out as much as I can, especially when I was younger. But as someone who's kind of had to make do with what's around his house a lot, yeah, it kind of sucks, doesn't it? Now you kind of feel, and it's not just me, but anyone with a disability, or even those people that just can't drive because of epilepsy. America's always taken a lot of pride in its independence and cars, and that's a symbol of adulthood. But now you see it's kind of based on a false premise that you can drive, that you can go. And when that's taken away or severely curtailed, yeah, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Well, I'm here to share things that I do and things you can do too. Because this is a great time to kind of make your home, or at least your house, your dwelling, more your home, where you have hobbies and things to work on and do right around the house. And what's cool about being in the house more, you can save money. If you're out driving your automobile, you're gonna spend money on gas. But also, when you go to that gas station, you pop in to pay for your gas. You might pick up a candy bar or a bag of chips, or Arizona iced tea. You end up, instead of just buying, say, $20 worth of gas, you end up spending maybe $30 or $35 all told. But if you do that every couple of days, that's pretty big money. People have often commented on my models on this channel where I get the time or money. A lot of it is just that, being at home. Also, not eating fast food a lot. McDonald's and all that's not convenient for me, so I either cook at home or whatever, have other arrangements. Save a lot of money there. And the money I save, I put into my hobbies or whatnot. Also, people are at home with their families, and hopefully most are having a good time with that. I mean, you should enjoy time with your family, but also, sometimes we all just need alone time and establishing, boundaries. It's why it's good to have an office room or a den or at least a workshop out back. So what are you interested in? I mean, there's lots of things you can do at home. Amazon is still delivering, so you can do stuff. Obviously, models are something I enjoy. I get the models. Now, of course, they're die cast, so there's not much assembly required, although there's some. On top of that, I enjoy researching them, reading Wikipedia articles, trying to find other better articles on them. I really enjoy reading up on new models I picked up. Also, if you look on YouTube, pretty much all the good old documentaries from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even 2000s are free on YouTube or very inexpensive on Amazon. So that's always something fun to do to kill some time and educate yourself while you're at it. In the gun arena, this is a great time to do that project. Maybe you've got an AK kit you've been meaning to put together, or an AR-15 you've been meaning to tactical, or Maybe you tacticooled it 10 years ago and are now tired of it, and you want to kind of make it into a KISS carbine. Keep it simple, stupid. This is a great time to go ahead and finish up either kind of project or anything. You know, if you've been meaning to refinish a shelf or assemble a bookcase, you know, do some work patching up your house. You can always clean your gutters, change the filter on your AC unit before summer hits. You know, wax your car. There's a good way to spend an afternoon. Good detail waxing. Get outside, get some fresh air. What else? Not only something I could do, but puzzles. You could always, if you like jigsaw puzzles or whatever, there's that. Or for the kid inside you, some of the newer Lego kits are crazy cool, like the Apollo Saturn V one. Hey, if you, and the neat thing is, you order some Legos on Amazon, no one will know it's you. You can always just tell them it's for your kid, or if you don't have a kid, for your nephew or niece. They don't have to know. Of course, in the same vein as that, there's always porn. The only problem there is with toilet paper hard to find and tissues not in too great supply, you might run into a sticky situation there, so make sure you're well stocked on Kleenex if you go that route. Me, myself, and I'm too old and I've been married too long to really care much about that anymore. But hey, to each their own, right? That does, you know, bring me to a serious point. You know, with the internet now, I know this might seem like you're going stir crazy, but realize if this had happened 30 years ago, it would have been so much worse. Back then, cable TV was only, you know, 20, 30 channels. A few people had satellite in 1990, but a lot of people didn't. They just had basic cable. For entertainment, you had the Nintendo, the NES, and while I'm sure a lot of you think it's fun, just imagine playing Ninja Gaiden or Duck Hunt over and over and over. And for, you know, resources, you have basically the best thing you have for Wikipedia back then would be the encyclopedia that probably was outdated in 1982 that's been collecting dust. Yeah, no cell phones back then, or at least they were very uncommon and very expensive. Most houses had one or two phone lines, so you had to share it with your siblings. So yeah, just reflect on that. And if you're a little too young to remember 30 years ago, heck, even think 20 years ago, 2000. Okay, we had internet then, but a lot of people at home still had dial-up. 56K if you were lucky. A lot of places like where I lived, it was more like 28K just because of the old phone lines. And even though the internet existed back then, think about what was on it, or rather what wasn't on it. This was at the dawn of eBay. It was pre-Amazon. About the coolest thing to do on the internet in 2000 was download the latest mod for like Unreal or Half-Life, or maybe if you're old school back then, Doom 2, and chat on ICQ or AOL. Yeah, Wikipedia really wasn't a thing yet. Very few videos. It was the old, you know, very low res flash. The coolest thing I remember on the internet in 2000 as far as videos was like old episodes of the first few seasons of South Park and a Star Wars parody called Cops. But it was Troops. It was great. It was a parody of Cops done in Star Wars called Troops. Even today, if you haven't seen it, even though it's like really low res by today's standards, it was awesome. It was great. I think it's more canon than the sequel trilogy, if you ask me. But yeah, the internet wasn't like today where you can literally spend days on it without doing stuff. And we didn't have YouTube then. YouTube wasn't even a glimmer. YouTube was years off. And if you're still too young, and there's no shame in that, to remember 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, 2010. Let's think about it if this had happened. Okay, we had YouTube, but not near the number of channels. Okay, internet was faster, but still wasn't, like it is today, and sometimes people still had limits on data. Cell phones weren't where they're at today. By the way, yeah, back in 2000, you literally had cell phones, but no, data to speak of on phones. Well, by 2010, you had data, but what you could do with it was still limited, and most people still had limited data per month, so you couldn't use it all that much. And YouTube was still pretty low res, like 760. Amazon existed, so that was cool. Definitely getting better 10 years ago. But today, there's so much more you can do on the interwebs. So be thankful. Be really, really thankful for that. I think internet is going to be what helps a lot of people keep their sanity. Also keep in touch with loved ones. I mean, you can FaceTime people or game with friends or family now. And also because of where the internet's at with FaceTime and also security, a lot of us can work from home now. So the timing is so much better than it could have been 10, 20, 30 years ago. Yeah, there's that. I don't know, what other hobbies do you have? If you don't want to do that, if you don't want to chill on the internet or do some stuff, maybe find a new hobby. And there's a lot of things out there and a lot of forum communities. So maybe you can just find something you didn't know you were going to be interested in by just checking out the forums. That's a thought. The thing is, we really do live in a good time. We have a lot more stuff to occupy leisure, and so much data is at our fingertips that learning is so easily accessed. It's amazing. I love that. Then again, I'm into that stuff. On the financial end of things, that's more concerning. A lot of people are laid off or working from home or kind of on unemployment or about to be. On the positive, you can cut back your expenses. Like I said, not going out as much, you can save quite a bit of money. But it's not going to be easy for a lot of people. I totally get that. And it's going to be hard for some people to get pharmaceuticals, even groceries. But I don't think it's quite as dire as people might first think. You might just have to change the brands you buy or the stores instead of going to Walmart, which, frankly, I fucking hate Walmart. So this is just a great excuse not to ever go again. And I'm not talking about the company. I just hate going there. It's big, it's loud, it's lots of people. What about going to a more, small store? I know a lot of the small groceries have been pushed out by Walmart. But, for example, there's an Asian market down the street from us that has fresh fish and fresh this and that. And they're awesome. The prices are a little cheaper. And, in other communities there are, Russian markets and things. So check out your small stores. You might find that they even have toilet paper. I really just don't get that whole toilet paper thing, and I don't think most people do. It's going to become a meme. I'm sure it already is. I was joking a few weeks ago about people buying bidets, but they're actually doing it now. People are buying bidets on Amazon. Okay, hey, I mean, that serves the point, though. Okay, you need to clean up after going to the restroom. Humans managed it for thousands upon thousands of years before toilet paper. You'll figure something out. Promise you. If nothing else, you got trees in your yard. That's what leaves are for. If you've ever been camping, just, make sure you grab the leaves and not the pine cones, the sweet gumballs. Unless you're into that. Again, kind of going back to the whole porn thing. If shoving a sweet gumball up your butt is kind of your kink, hey, that can be a new hobby you just discovered. But just know if you get into some medical trouble, getting to the ER might be a little more difficult than it used to be. So, put the gerbil down. I also think this is really putting what's important in perspective. in America, and in the rest of the world too, but it seems like America's been leading the pack. We've been squabbling over the last 4, even 8, 10 years over really inconsequential things. I mean, I'm not saying some of the stuff doesn't matter, but the vehemency that people go in is just disproportionate to what it matters. I think this shows us what really, really matters. And to those people who are taking it and trying to be as nice and understanding to their fellow humans as possible, I greatly applaud you. To those that are being opportunistic and selfish and greedy, well, I pity you, because people will remember how people behaved during this, and there will be a reckoning. And as much as I say that about people, it will really be the case with companies. People will remember the companies that did their best for their employees and customers, and the companies that truly didn't give a shit. And I sincerely hope people will patronize the companies that cared, or at least didn't put profits ahead of everything else once this is all over. But I have to say, on my own personal experience, I've seen much more positive than I have negative, especially out of people. Now, companies, it's kind of been 50-50. But people, I've definitely seen more good come out of people than bad. Maybe that's just me. Some might disagree. And I'm not saying it's been categorically across the board universal. I've seen a few assholes, of course, like anyone. But it just seems like 4 out of 5 interactions I've had over these last 2-3 weeks have been positive. And, well wishes for everyone to keep safe. And, yeah, that's just my take on it. But I would say look around you at your home. Take this as an opportunity. Don't stress about what you can't do. Just think about, people always say, oh, they're too busy, they don't have time. People lament how tired they are, how much they have to work, how they have no time to do things, how they have no time to... This is, now you have time. Use it. Use it to talk to people, call them on the phone, FaceTime them, whatever. Call friends and whatnot. I don't mean to send them a Facebook message. No. Call them or video chat with them. Really take one-on-one time. Because interacting on Facebook in a group thing, it's not the same. It doesn't count. Just because you can't be in the room. And sometimes not being in the room with someone, especially just on the phone, not seeing their face, but just can let people be a little more open. You know what I mean? Take stock of what matters, and kind of catch up on stuff and appreciate what you have. And really, maybe, after this is over, you can cut out some expenditures in your life that you realize you don't need. I mean, the big one for me would be we cut out cable TV, satellite TV 10 years ago, and don't miss it. But we really do enjoy the extra $150 or so a month. That might help you budget in the future. You might realize that your paycheck can actually go further than you realize if you just make some changes. A lot of things you can live without that you don't realize, and people can live with things. I mean, again, look at me. I do without things that all of you have every day, and I don't just accept it. I'm perfectly happy with it. You just have to appreciate what you have, and I know what I have. I have a job I enjoy. I have a couple of hobbies. I have a family I love and is supportive. I have friends that are good, and, we own a house. We have cats. Although if you want a cat, let me know. I'll send you one. Mail's still working. I'm not saying ambition's bad. I actually tend to be a very ambitious person in a lot of ways, but sometimes it is time to just sit back and take stock of what you do have. And sometimes it's time to reach for the future and try to gain more. But that's not right now. This is a time when everyone as a community should be together and support each other and Yeah, just kind of tell people what they mean to each other. Be sincere. And again, I hope everyone, when this is over, remembers the companies that were good and the companies that were jerks. And yeah, because the way we were going before 2020 was nowhere good. American business was just ridiculous in its practices. The wealth distribution was just crazy. People were working way too many hours for a quote-unquote first world nation. Our healthcare system, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, left or right, was broken. Let's fix it. Let's take this as a wake-up call so that we do remain what we want to be. Because if not, we will be surpassed. But I think this can be a positive thing for the USA and for the world if we take the lessons from the coronavirus to heart. And it's up to us as a species, us as a group, us as a community to do that. So that's what I think people should do, can do, ought to do while at home. But will we? I think we can. I think we will. I guess I'm an optimist, I suppose, but I think we can, because when the chips are down, be it Pearl Harbor or the Cuban Missile Crisis or 9/11 or whatever, we've managed it. We've pulled it out. This is just another one of those events, and we can do this. We're still Americans, we're still humans, we still are the world. We can pull through a crisis just as our forefathers did. If they could do it, we can. And if they can go through the deprivations of World War II, especially as was seen in Europe, if they can go through all that horror, we can survive wiping our asses with leaves and not using toilet paper, and we can survive not getting our name brand food, and we can survive with admittedly reduced income for a couple of months. And if you know a neighbor who really is on the verge of starving, who really has nothing, that's when the community's time to step in and help that person out is, because you never know. You help that person today, 10 years from now, the roles could be reversed. Even if they're not, sometimes it's just the right, decent human thing to do. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on this whole shut-in thing. It's not great. I understand that. Again, my life is much like this. The way you're living now is how those of us with disabilities live our lives. It'll be over for you sooner or later, but for us, it's our lives. So the next time you have a disabled friend who wants to go to the store or whatever, even just to drive to the park, I think you'll understand a little bit better of their need to get out of the house or their need for a companionship if it seems like they just want you over for no appreciable reason. And again, maybe this will show people that work's not everything, that working 50, 60, 70 hours a week isn't the end-all and be-all of life, that there's more important things in the world. But yeah, that's my motivational speaking for the night. Love to hear what everyone else is up to, and I hope everyone really is doing fine, and if not, let someone know. Heck, let me know if you want. Send me a message. But we'll all get through it. We can. With that, I'm going to call it a night, get in from this old rain out here, and with that, this is Misha, and I will catch you very soon next time.